We only had maybe 10 minutes to teach you something by step. When I first shared with you this workout with the O2 breakthrough, what was going through your mind, Deremiah, when you learned this step by step?
Well, one of the first things that I noticed is that I had a lot more energy. That I had a lot more energy. I felt my head was a lot clearer. It just seems like the thoughts that were going through my mind after we did a few of the exercises, it just seemed like it was just heightened. I'm telling you, it was a great rush, you know, the experience that you shared with me through the exercise, and I got a chance to experience that myself, and I said, hey, if you've ever been excited before and you know what that kind of rush feeling is like, this is really probably, you know, 5 or 10 times more than anything that you've ever experienced along those particular lines. So it was exciting to me.
And that experience in just what, a 30-second workout, where I actually put you in place, maybe, you know, at a brand new beginner baby step stage. It might take me like a minute or two to set you up for what you're going to be doing, and maybe a minute or so to explain the scientific process, the actual science behind the techniques. There is an explanation why these burn thousands of calories in minutes. And what did you say to me when you learned this from me? You said, this makes perfect sense.
Sure. I mean, it does, and I'm able to say that because of the fact that I do know quite a bit about working out and training myself. I mean, I've been an athlete for the last almost 30 years, and playing football and baseball and wrestling and all of that was a part of my normal regime when I was going through junior high and high school. Matter of fact, I often tell people when I'm sharing my life story that my religion was being an athlete, and I'm not bragging when I say that, but I mean I was just that committed to sports that I would not use drugs because of the fact that I really believe that if in order for me to perform at the highest level, you know, I'd have to take care of my body. My body was a temple, you know what I mean, that I, you know, worshiped, took care of, you know, provided the proper nourishment and, you know, working out and running and everything else. And so that's all carried over, even though I stopped, you know, playing college football in NCAA third division at the end of my senior year in high school at North Park University. After I left there, I still continued running and exercising, and even got into weightlifting a little bit more probably about 5 years ago. But I have never experienced what I experienced with Zena, you know what I mean, in any of those workouts, you know, in, you know, 20 to 30 seconds going through one of her exercises. And I don't say that trying to, you know, pump up the program or trying to say something that's not true. It's just reality. When I'm in the weight room and I'm lifting weights, I mean, I don't get a head rush. You know what I mean? I don't get a hurricane wind of oxygen going to every cell in my body. You know, when I'm lifting weights, oftentimes, you know, after you get finished lifting, I'm tired. You know, I'm exhausted. You know, and the refresh part comes, you know what I mean, afterwards, not like immediately as when I experienced doing the exercises with Zena. So I was real, like I said, excited about that. And, of course, when I got finished, I said, hey, this makes perfect sense. I mean, because if you're sending a hurricane, you know, of oxygen to every cell in the body, you should feel, you know, exuberant. You should feel refreshed. You should feel a great deal of energy because it's the oxygen that's in the blood that really, you know, provides for the level of energy that we feel. And I would know that real well, too, having gone through asthma, you know, me as a child. I know what the body feels like when it needs oxygen. I mean, you're not feeling good. You're feeling almost limp, you know.
And this brings also to play your experience with, have you had experience with yoga and Qigong and Tibetan rites and towel breathing. Have you had experience with that? You have.
Well, yes, I have. I've my mother was, into yoga when I was a kid and a teenager, and I, read books on, the yogas and, all that kind of thing, and even did a lot of the exercises, and stuff. And I also have experience in the breathing exercises too, because I did martial arts when I was a kid. And if you recall, any of you all recall seeing some of the Bruce Lee movies, you remember, Bruce Lee doing some, breathing exercises, and it's something that's very common to martial artists and stuff like that. So I have done those exercises, but I've never experienced, the same thing in terms of the burst of energy that I experienced doing any of the breathing exercises as I did when I did your, trade secret exercises on, how to increase oxygen in every cell in the body at such an intense rate.
I appreciate that feedback, and we have a client who's done Qigong, and she's actually worked with a top master in the world, and she said an hour of Qigong she didn't feel what she felt in 30 seconds. Because we're going to tell you right now there is a difference. All other exercises, including the breathing discipline, are only a whisper, a very weak wind of a breeze in a few muscle cells. That's it. And it takes you 20 minutes to get it there. You don't have immediate oxygen in your system. It takes you sustained 20 minutes of conventional cardio to get a target level heart rate, which they've now found in recent research is dangerous. It actually puts you at cardiac arrest risk. But does this make sense to you, Deremiah, that I differentiate and not all these a breathing exercise?
Sure, and you should differentiate, because anybody that knows any good thing about marketing knows that that's what makes people come to you, is the fact that you don't try to appeal to being everything to all people, and you actually show clearly and distinctly, what makes you different and what sets you apart from others. And I think that that's a great distinction, to say that, hey, it is only a whisper, of oxygen to the body when you do all these other programs compared to the trade secrets that you make available to people.
The O2 breakthrough hurricane of oxygen is what we want people to know. We have a massive infusion in the first few seconds. Did you not feel that? Did you feel the warmth and being alive and awake in your brain and everywhere? Did you feel the oxygen throughout every cell in your body in the first few seconds?
Without a doubt.
You're going to get head to toe, working out every body part, sculpturing face and body and jowls and goodbye jowls and double and triple chins and things that are starting to droop and drop with gravitational pull. Deremiah, would you then say that this O2 breakthrough hurricane of oxygen is something that would give you, with your very demanding schedule, with all the things that you want to do in every day?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, because I've actually stopped my normal weight training program and all of that just to see how this works. So I just want to let you know, Zena, that I've pulled off and backed away from everything that I normally do just to see the impact and the effects, because I want to be able to be authentic about the process. And I'm one of these kind of people that if you want to really see how something affects you, you have to kind of pull away from some of the other things that you do in order to be able to say, yeah, that this is the direct effect of that, because I'm not doing anything else that could, influence that. So I'm excited to see what additional things we're going to be doing so that I can make sure that, my body is maintaining a higher level of success than what it did when I was in the weight room working out every day and running and that kind of thing. So I'm just letting you know I'm testing this thing, and right now it seems to be testing out real well, along with some of even the dietary things that you shared with me. And I know that's not a part of your program, but Zena's shared some other ways for me to do things that I normally do, and she's added tremendous value in so many other areas. I wish I had a tape recorder on you every time we talk. So, but I don't. I'm just going purely by what you're sharing. But I just want to let you know I've been taking notes.
We have recordings and audios available to everyone.